much of it then, but life was a beauty, and by nature I would just sing to the hit songs. I would sing, didn't think it was anything, but the throne above was listening, and I could not imagine he loved when I sing to the hit songs. I would sing, didn't think it was anything, but the throne above was listening, and I could not imagine the Savior loved when I was singing. La 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 la, come on and sing, yeah. Receiving Christ in my heart was right, but joy and beauty had now left my sight. Other things entered in, and days were a burden, and nights 'cause I wouldn't just sing that lost, that lovely thing. Of trouble was all I could think. Father, get me out of here. While I was praying, he told me to sing that lost, that lovely thing. Of trouble was all I could think. Father, get me out of here. While I was praying, he said to sing. La 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 la, come on and sing, yeah.
Spiritual gifts with the message, intelligence the message. I'm still through the message, and then by the message. Bring life through the message, and light by the message, and by the message, and sing with the message of his word.
I'm now on my way, y'all, and the Spirit keeps telling me what he had placed in me. Sing of what I've done in your life. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. I have equipped you with everything. Now you know you're chosen to sing of what I've done in your life. I'm the way, the truth, and the light. I have equipped you with everything. Now you know you're chosen to sing. Come on and sing for me of my glory. What I've done for you, laying down my life on that tree. Give them the message of my glory. Tell them what you sing for me, yeah.
Shabbat Shalom. Malak Bamashadji again with Wake Up Zion. Got some things I want to talk to you about. As you can see, as the song said, he called me to sing, but that's part of the ministry that he gave me. All right. He also called me to suffer, which I've been doing a lot of lately. He called all of us to suffer. If you're going to be walking with Yahawah, you to suffer. Let's go there real quick. Get in the search engine, wherefore, or just put in there, I take pleasure There it is. Paul said in 2 Corinthians 12:10, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities. Highlight that. I want to start before that. Sometimes we go straight to a scripture. Okay, let's go to 12:9. 2 Corinthians 12:9. And he said unto me, and Paul was talking about his thorn in the flesh. Paul had a thorn in the flesh, and he prayed to Yah that he would take it from him. And Yah spoke to him and said, and through all this time, Yah didn't take that thorn in the flesh from him. He wondered why. And Yahawah or Yah spoken to him and said, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. I like that. For my strength is made perfect in weakness. It's hard to believe. This is the reason why I talk about maturity, spiritual maturity. I didn't say physical maturity, like some knuckleheads would believe I'm talking about. I said spiritual maturity. All right? Spiritual and physical is two different things. It's part of your being, but you can be dead for 14, 16 years of your life and then come to life at 16 or 17, spiritually, or what you would call be born again. But yeah, I told Paul, my strength is made perfect in weakness. All right? Most gladly, Paul said, therefore will I rather glory in my infirmities. I like that. Most gladly, therefore will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. I like that. This is a different ball game, people. This is not the physical ball game. You come talking to me with the physical stuff, like as if I'm in the same boat as you, I'm going to be laughing at you on the inside and looking at you crazy on the outside. It's like a little baby coming up to you talking about, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what you're saying, little baby. All right? I know what you're saying. I've been there and done that. Okay, go to verse 10. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmity. Look at the word infirmity. Asthenia. Asthenia. All right? Feebleness of body or mind. Highlight that. Feebleness of body and mind is infirmity. Asthenia. So Paul had a feebleness of body or mind, or both. By implication, malady. Highlight that. Malady. Moral frailty. And you don't want to have moral frailty. Disease. You'd rather have a disease than have moral frailty. Infirmity. Sickness. Weakness. Took out of it. So Paul said, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. All right? See, when you being taught by Yah, when you being taught by Yah, even just taught, anybody's being taught by Yah, there's going to come after that a test. If you're being taught the word, there's going to come a test afterwards to see what you learn. Okay? This is the way of life. Go to search. Reproofs. Make sure you spell it right. Go to the Proverbs. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is a light. Highlight that. The commandment is a lamp, and the law is a light. And reproofs of instruction are the way of life. Highlight that. And reproofs of instruction, that means when somebody tells you something you don't want to hear. That's the way of life. Somebody's telling you stuff you want to hear, watch out. If somebody tells you correct stuff that you don't want to hear, you better listen to them. That's how the prophets were. Click on the word reproof, 8433. So Keita. Did I say that right? To Keita. To Now this is Hebrew. You can tell it's different from Greek. So Keita. Chastisement, highlight that. When somebody's telling you, a spiritual leader or a spiritual father telling you stuff you don't want to hear, it's called chastisement. All right? If you don't know what chastisement is, if your mother or father grabbed a belt and put it on your butt, that's called chastisement. Okay? Correction. When you go to jail or prison, they call it the house of correction. It's another way of chastising. Refutation. Prove. Argument. Chasten. Correction. Reasoning. Here's a big one. Rebuke. Reprove. Reprove. All right, you can click out of it. So the commandment is a lamp and the law is a light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. To keep thee, go to verse 24. I'm going to show you why that's important. To keep thee from the evil woman. Highlight that. You got a problem with giving with women that doesn't work? It's because you're not doing the commandment as a lamp. You're not looking at it as a light. The law is a light. You're not listening to reproofs of instruction. It's to keep you from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Highlight that. Or even the woman you're not supposed to be with. I've been in this situation. I've been there and done that. Anytime you get wound up with a woman you're not supposed to be with, highlight that verse 23 again. You need to go back over this. All right. For a man to keep the commandments of Yah and the law of Yah and reproofs of instruction, you're saving yourself from a lot of trouble. All right. Now we live in a culture where our fathers were mostly out of the house. We're starting to come back more into the house nowadays. But a lot of single women, all right, or divorced households, where the house gets broken up. The children get raised either by a single mother or a single father. All right. For men, this is important that you wind up with the right woman. How do you do it? Commandment is a lamp. The law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. That means when somebody is more mature than you spiritually, take it to you, you listen. You listen. Go to search and continue learning. And continue learning. And did you put A-N-D in there? Yeah, sound like it. Take out the N. Now, okay. A wise man, put in there a wise man. Go to Proverbs. Go to Proverbs chapter 1. wise man will hear and will increase learning. Highlight that. A wise man, it didn't say a fool, will hear and continue learning. All right. Click on the word 8085. Shema means to hear intelligently. Highlight that. Intelligently. Often with implication of attention. Obedience. I like the word obedience. To tell. Scroll up a little bit. Carefully. This is why I'm glad I was the way I was growing up. I didn't talk that much. I listened. I listened. There's a reason why you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You got 2 lips, but 2 ears and 1 mouth. The mouth is for speaking, the ears are for hearing. All right? You got the ear on this side, the ear on that side, so you don't miss anything. It's better to hear than to speak. You're supposed to hear before you speak. All right? Diligently. Discern. Discern is a gift you get when you get the Holy Ghost. Give ear. And then say give speech. You notice it said give ear, not speech. Calls to hear. Calls make to hear. So it's not about talking, it's about hearing. Once you hear all the right things and you grow up in it, then it's time to talk. If you ain't grew up yet, shut your mouth. What you talking for? To keep from hearing? Go down to listen? Make a noise? Now here's where you're talking a little bit. Be obedient. Obey. Perceive. Scroll up a little bit. So you get the message. Like the song says. It's about learning, not talking, not showing people you can talk. It's about learning. Because you can be in a very, how can I put it? Like we just talked about, a very physical malady condition. It can still be very sharp. But if you get into a bad condition, you don't know what the heck is going on, that's worse than death. Click out of it. Go ahead, go to search again. Okay. Go to Proverbs chapter 9. Reprove not a scorner. Highlight that. Reprove not a scorner. Click on the word for scorner. Learn the word to make mouths at. Lutz is the Hebrew word. Properly to make mouths at. Highlight that. Properly to make mouths at. That means to make fun of. That is to scoff. Highlight that, to scoff. Hence, the effort to pronounce a foreign language, to interpret it. Scroll up. Derision. Derision. Make a mock. Make a mock. That means to make fun of. Mocker. Scorn. Scornful teacher. Yeah, there it goes. Click out of it. So Proverbs 9:8 says, reprove not a scorner unless he hate thee. So what people that don't like to learn and you tell them stuff to where they're supposed to learn, they will eventually hate thee. Highlight that, lest he hate thee. 8130, click on that. What does that word hate mean? Sane, to hate, personally. Click, scroll, highlight that. To hate, personally. Enemy, foe, be hated, hateful. Odious, which means hateful. Utterly. So basically, Yah tells his prophets and wise teachers to reprove, not to scorn. Click out of it. Lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man. Highlight that. Rebuke a wise man. What do you think a wise man would do when you reprove him? What do you think a wise man would do if you reprove him or rebuke him? Rebuke a wise man, and what will he do to you? It's different. He will love you. He will love thee. Highlight that. You rebuke a wise man, he will love thee. Go to verse 9. Give instructions to a wise man. What will happen when you give instructions to a wise man? He will be yet wiser. Highlight that. Teach a just man. Highlight that. And he will increase in learning. This is how you know who's wise and who's not. This is how you know who's a scorner and who's not. This is how you know who's a fool and who's not. All right? The fear of Yahawah, verse 10. Fear of Yahawah is the beginning of wisdom. Some people say, I don't fear God. Well, too bad for you. You should, because you know what's coming. Everybody gonna fear him. You learn to fear him now before he does come, before you have to fear him. But the fear of Yahawah is the beginning of wisdom. Click on the word 2451. Chokmah. It's a word for wisdom in Hebrew. Chokmah. All right. Wisdom, click, highlight that. In a good sense. Wisdom in a good sense. Skillful. Wisdom. Wisely. Wit. You just don't get born again and all of a sudden you're wise as Solomon. It takes time and instruction and rebuking and reproof. Click out of that. All right, go back to search. Okay, Proverbs 14. A wise man feared and departed from evil. That means a wise man will sense and discern that is not the right way. I better get out of this road. Highlight that. A wise man feared and departed from evil. But a fool rages. Let's look at the word fear. See what that means. 3373. Y'all ready? Fearing, morally reverent. Highlight the word morally reverent. Afraid. Fearful. Check out of it. That's hard to believe that Yahawah was fearful about a lot of things. He wasn't just, come to save the day. He was fearful when it came to walking in the wrong direction. But a fool rages and is confident. I like that. Girls like confident guys, so I must be confident all the time. Well, fool, even Yahawah was not confident all the time. He's a king. Go ahead to search. Scroll up. Proverbs 17. reproof. A reproof. Highlight click on the word 1606. Tonight. Yahawah. Yahawah is still Hebrew. A chiding, a rebuke. Highlight the word rebuke. Reprove. Click out of it. That means a reproof or a rebuke entered more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. So just a reproof or a rebuke entered more into a wise man's heart than 100 stripes. That means stripes, that means beatings, belt. All right? And 100 stripes into a fool. Go ahead, go back to search. Go to 1728. Even a fool, these could be looked at as jokes, sort of. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace. I like that. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, which means that fools, they don't listen before they talk. Fools just talk. Talk, 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 talk. And they're emotional, like women. Women are made to be emotional, but men are made to be concrete. You catch a man that just talk, 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 and don't listen, he's emotional. He's like a woman. I'm not saying that it's wrong to be like a woman, but I'm not saying it's right to be like a woman either. Because if you're a woman, it's good to be a woman. But be a man is not good to be a woman. Even a fool, when he holds of his peace, is counted wise. I like that, is counted wise. So to be wise, you must listen more than you talk. Now, if you learn, and you become old, and you've gotten older, and you learn, and you're teaching, you're supposed to teach what you've learned. But if you're not taught, you haven't been listening, you haven't gotten wise, then teach someone. Let me see what you're talking about. And if I listen to you and say, boy, that dude's a fool, or you sense it, you shouldn't be teaching. Now, there are some teachers that everybody should listen to, but nobody does. The Bible speaks about that. About people that should be listened to, that is not listened to, like prophets. Prophets weren't listened to all the time. As a matter of fact, they were killed and murdered some of the time. He that shut up his lips, he is esteemed as a man of understanding. I like that. And he that shut up his lips is esteemed as a man of understanding. That's what you want to be as a man of understanding. Go to search. Proverbs 21. A wise man scaleth the city. What does that word scale mean? Ascend, to ascend. To be high. Click out of it. Wise man ascended the city of the mighty and casteth down the strength of the confidence thereof. Go ahead, go to the next search. Search. There's treasure to be, huh?
Yeah, skip this one, perhaps.
There's a treasure to be desired in oil in the dwelling of the wise. I like that. There's treasure to be desired in oil in the dwelling of the wise. But a foolish man spendeth it up. I like that. But a foolish man spendeth it up. Go to search. Twenty-four to 5. A wise man is strong. I like that. A wise man is strong. Yea, a man of knowledge increases strength. That doesn't mean that he's like Hulkamania. And if he's weak, then he's foolish. The strength is an inner strength. Go to verse 6. For by wise counsel thou shalt make war. I like that. For by wise counsel thou shalt make war. That's why countries try to have the smartest people in the White House and in the government buildings. And the people that they leading is the people that's young folks that have the muscle. So you got the wise telling the muscle what to do. All right. Not everybody has wise men leading their country. All right. As you can see. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. I like that. The multitude of counselors, so hopefully they're wise counselors, there is safety. Verse 7. Wisdom is too high for a fool. I like that. Wisdom is too high for a fool. And I like to click on the word for fool. Let's see what a fool is. Evil. When I was a kid, there was this guy, this daredevil that was famous, Evil Knievel. He would jump ramps of trucks and cars, lots of them in the road, with a motorcycle going at high speed, and come down on the back end of his motorcycle to show people that he was something else. I remember Evil Knievel jumped across Snake Canyon. I think it's part of the what is that? The what is it called? Over there in Arizona, the canyon, Grand Canyon. Yeah, he jumped the Grand Canyon, the Snake Canyon. It's not the whole Grand Canyon because he would have killed himself, but he jumped over a certain part that had a river in it and underneath it. It was a long jump. He jumped it with like a apparatus, not a motorcycle. It was like a apparatus that he got in, all right, and he jumped it. But this word for fool is evil. So basically, in a sense, if you look at the Hebrew word for his name, Evil Knievel, just call him a fool. Why was he a fool? Jumping stuff that could get him killed. But anyway, let's look at the meaning of the word for fool, which is evil. From an unused root meaning to be perverse, silly, click on silly, foolish man. Click out of it. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He opened not his mouth in the gate. I like that. So when it comes to wisdom, the fool won't open his mouth in the gate. Click on search. Click on verse 9, 29 verse 9. If a wise man contendeth with a fool, if a wise man contendeth with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, there is no rest. This is the reason why people that really have wisdom should not deal with foolish people. I'm gonna show you something real quick. Is there any more? Go to search. Okay, put it in your search engine. He that walketh with wise men. Click on there. All right. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise. I like that. Now, in order to walk with wise men, you can't be no fool. The wise man is going to look at you crazy and going to say, I want you away from me. I don't want you around me. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools. I like that. but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Whether you wise or not, if you're a companion of fools, you will be destroyed. Click on that word for destroy. Ruah, tumar, especially by breaking. To split the to split the ears with sound. That is shout for alarm or joy. Blow an alarm. Cry. Destroy. I like the word destroy. Make a joyful noise. No, that's not it. All right. Click out of it. So here's the point. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise. Because a wise man will correct you when you're wrong. If a wise man doesn't want you to correct him, he's not wise. He's a fool. A wise man will hear a rebuke and reprove and continue learning. Like we just read a little bit ago. They will hear you reprove them or rebuke them and will still yet love you if that's what you're talking the right stuff. You're talking wicked stuff, evil stuff, they're gonna say, "Oh, I don't need you around me." If you're talking the right thing, you can reprove them. They still love you. All right. So I got that part of the Bible study out of the way. All right. Go to Hebrews chapter 6. I'm not in this thing just to have friends. I'm not teaching or believing in the Bible to have friends. That's not my whole repertoire. I can have friends or not have friends. It doesn't matter. All right. If you're in this thing just to have friends or a community, you might be a fool. All right. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like fools for friends because you can't learn nothing from them. Okay. And they will not learn anything from you. Hebrews 6:1. Therefore, leaving the principles of the doctrine of Christ, principle, look at the word principle, click on it. Arcade, a commencement or a concrete chief, various applications. Beginning, I like the word beginning. That word principle means beginning. Corner, okay, just the beginning is really the major word. Take out of it. Therefore, leaving the beginnings of the doctrine of Christ, let us go on to perfection. I like that. Let us go on to perfection. Now, this is the reason why you become a believer, to become perfect. You just don't become perfect because you profess to be a believer, because you profess to be a Hebrew Israelite and that you God's chosen people. Now you're smart and you're wise, and that's it. Happy days are here again. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I ain't learned nothing. All right. The word perfection. Let's go on to perfection. Click on the word for that. Teleiotes. Now this is Greek, obviously. Completeness. Click on the word completeness. Perfection. Click out of it. So let's go into perfection. Let's go into being a fully grown person. You don't become a fully grown person by being a fully grown person physically. That means everybody's spiritually mature if that's the case. Because you've grown up spiritually, you've grown spiritually. When you've grown physically, that's a physical thing. When you've grown spiritually, that's a whole nother ballgame. Most people are not fully grown spiritually. They're grown physically, but spiritually they're still kids if they are alive. If you're alive spiritually, you're a kid. You're not fully mature. Most people in heaven, after this world is over with, most people will be kids. All right? The fewest people will be grown-up adults. It's going to be few grown-up adults. Because in that world, you're going to be what you are spiritually, not physically. Spiritually is what you're going to be. If you left this world spiritually a baby, in that world over there, you're going to be spiritually a dull-minded person. You won't be fully mature spiritually, so you won't show up as fully mature. So let's go into perfection, not laying again the foundation of repentance from dead works and of faith toward God, of the doctrine of baptisms. All of these things are elementary. Just like when you start school, you start elementary school, and then you go to middle school, then you go to high school, and from high school you go to college. If you go to college, if you continue your education, when you go to college, you're really getting ready for a career to make a living, take care of your kids. But do you have to do that in order to take care of your kids, make a living? No, not everybody has to do that. But that's how, that's the example of elementary, middle, high school. The doctrine of baptism, the laying on of hands, resurrection of the dead, eternal judgment. Go to verse 3. And this we will do if God permit. I like that. Now the reason why I don't get on these topics all the time, is they're elementary or middle. The elementary school or middle school. What I'm mostly talking to is people that really are either my level or a little bit lower. But I go to the elementary part every now and then, like today. When I go to the elementary areas, the people that's in elementary school are not going to like it because you're being disciplined to grow up. Growing up is not always easy. It's painful. You ever heard of the term growing pains? And I don't like sitting around skinning and grinning with a bunch of kids that need to grow up. All right? This is what we'll do if God permit. All right? Go to chapter 5. You've been in this faith for a while. It shows you how much you love God. If you've grown up and become mature, you love Him. If you haven't grown up, you're still on milk. What are you doing? You're playing around. Scroll up. Okay, right there. Verse 8. Now, Yahawah had to grow up too. He started off as a baby, physically and spiritually, and grew up into a son. He grew up to maturity. Though he wore his son, highlight that. Though he wore his son, so he was a mature son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. Highlight that. Yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. So what makes you grow up and become mature? Highlight the word suffering by itself. That's what makes you grow up and become mature. When you talk to people that's immature, you reprove and rebuke them, they're going to hate it, normally, unless they're wise, unless they're trying to grow up. Most people are not trying to grow up spiritually, because it takes suffering. Click on the word 3958. Passcode. Suffer. Gonna go down. Vex. So suffering is suffer and vexation. It doesn't feel good. Click on it. Click out of it. So Yahawah suffered. He suffered to grow up. So the reason why Yahawah is exalted above all, because he suffered. He suffered for the right reason. That doesn't mean that you just suffer for any reason. You're going to grow up. Suffer for the right reason, for doing what is right. Then he grew up. You grew up from doing what is right and suffering for it. That's how you grow. Verse 9. And being made perfect, I like that. What happened to him? He was made perfect. Was he coming to the world perfect? No. He was made perfect through the things he suffered and being obedient. He became the author of eternal salvation to all that obey him. I like that. So now he's the teacher. All right. He was made perfect. Now he became the teacher, the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. Verse 10. The Bible calls him a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. All right. Scroll up. Of whom we have many things to say. Verse 11. I like that. Of whom we have many things to say and hard to be uttered. These things about Yahawah, we have many things to say and they're hard to be uttered. Hard to be uttered. I like that. Hard to be uttered. Seeing you're dull of hearing. I like that. Seeing you're dull of hearing. What happens when somebody doesn't grow up? They stay young. Instead of growing up spiritually, they become dull of hearing. They didn't say dull of speaking, because most fools can speak. But they become dull of hearing. Click on that word for Greek 189. Greek 189. Okay. Okay. All right. Hearing. Click on that word hearing. The act, the sense of the thing heard. Notice it's not talking about speaking, it's talking about hearing. Highlight the act, the sense, or the thing heard. Audience. Audience gives ear. They don't give their mouth. Ear. Highlight that. Fame. And that's on which you heard. Hearing. Priest. That's why that's preachers, so you can hear what's being spoken. Report, rumor. So you can click out of that. Verse 12. We was talking about this last week, but I want to go over it again. The one for the time you have to be teachers. Highlight that. If you've been in this faith for 10 years, you have to be a teacher. All right? But if you don't want to be made a fool out of, because if you go out there, you're a fool, and you start teaching, people are going to laugh at you. They're going to put you down. All right? Only ones who are going to be listening to you are foolish people just like you. And for the time, you have to be teachers. Now, there's another form of that too. There's people that are fools and get a great audience. Get a great audience because they're fools. All right? There's a lot of times fools will gravitate toward fools. But when God comes on the scene and says, okay, let me see what you're about, you'll be put to shame. All right? You don't want that. But when for the time you have to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God. I like that. I'm going to say that again slowly, if I can. And for the time you have to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles. Remember the first principles in Hebrews chapter 6? The elementary principles? You ever need somebody to teach you the elementary principles all over again, of the oracles of God. And now I become such as have need of milk. I like that. Now I become such as have need of milk. See, babies drink milk. When a baby comes out of the womb, first thing you feed him is milk. You don't give a baby anything that has to do with vegetables, fruits, or any of that. That's too strong for him. Even banana is too strong for a newborn baby. Even a banana, an apple, ground up, you can't give them anything ground up. It's too strong. They need milk. Now I become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. I like that. Not of strong meat. Strong meat is like beef. All right? Not of strong meat. Strong meat in the spirit is strong words that has a lot, you have to know a lot of stuff about the word in order to understand it. So you start out with the milk so you can get basic understanding. Then you graduate slowly but surely into crushed up bananas and crushed up apples, crushed up vegetables. And then sooner or later you start hungering for the meat, the strong meat. And before you can even eat it, because your teeth ain't formed yet, your mother has to chew it up for you and give you some meat. All right. So it's a process. You just don't all of a sudden just take a big jump and then all of a sudden you're spiritually mature. It doesn't happen like that. You have to love Yah's word before you can sit around and talk to people that are schooled and educated in the word. Otherwise, you're telling the person that's schooled and educated not to correct you because you're going to have your feelings hurt. See what I'm saying? You're going to have your feelings hurt. Please don't correct me because I might not like it. And now you're telling that man that you're a fool and he don't even want to be around you. He'll leave you alone if he's wise. Why? Because a companion of fools will suffer harm. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise. All right. You walk with wise men. A wise man accepts you in his audience. You will be wise. That's the way of knowing you're growing into wisdom. But a companion of fools will suffer harm. Go to verse 13. For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness. I like that. I'm going to read it slower. For everyone that uses milk in the word, that means it's talking about spiritual things here, not talking about physical. Definitely, if you were still on milk, you're a baby, you're not even caring what the word is talking about. But in the spiritual realm, everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness. Look on that word unskillful. Aperos. Inexperienced. I like that. Inexperienced. That is ignorant. I like the word ignorant. Unskillful. I want to be around skillful people that know the word. I don't want to be around people that's saying they're skillful, but they don't know what the heck they're talking about. How do you know? Because they don't know how to navigate their own life. They can't navigate their own life, their own experience. All right? Now I hurt somebody's feelings, Ain't that right, Drake? I hurt people's feelings. So I get tired of it eventually. I put up with it for a while. Once I get tired of it, I'm like the eagle. I'm like that eagle that kicks the little baby eagle out of the nest. You ever heard about the eagle? How they teach their young ones how to fly? Most people that's probably listening probably never heard of it, but some people have. The mother eagle, when she basically chooses her mate, she goes up, she flies up high with a stick in her mouth. Now this is how eagles choose their mates. The mother eagle, the female eagle, chooses her male eagle mate by flying up real high with a stick in her mouth and dropping the stick. And the male eagle that's trying to get her attention will swoop down and eventually catch the stick on its back. That impresses the mother eagle or the female eagle. So she chooses him. The reason why she did that is when she had the eggs and the eggs develop into little eagles, the eagle can stay in the nest as long as it's still small. When it gets too big, she kicks it out of the nest. She dwells on a high level. Eagles dwell up high. She kicks it out of the nest, and the eagle falls down at a great distance. The father eagle sees it flapping, not even flapping his wings, will go down there and catch it on his back. So that's the reason why the mother eagle basically chooses her mate by the eagle that can catch the stick that she drops out of her mouth when she's way up high in the air. Because she's gonna kick the baby eagle out of the nest, so the eagle can learn how to fly. As soon as that baby eagle starts flapping his wings and learning how to fly, then they accomplish their purpose. They raise the eagle. That eagle hits the ground and dies. Back to the old drawing board. All right? But that's how Yahawah raised Israel. He raised Israel like an eagle. All right? The scripture says that. I'm going to show it to you. Go to search. We're going to come back here. We at verse 13. On eagle's wings. On eagle. Okay, you can just do it like that. Click on Exodus. You ever seen what I did unto the Egyptians? All right, this Yah's telling Israel, you've seen what I did to the Egyptians. How I buried you on eagle's wings. I like that. You ever seen what I did unto the Egyptians and how I buried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself? I like that, and brought you unto myself. So basically, Yah kicked Israel out of the nest and caught Israel on his back and buried him on eagle's wings. Go back what we just said. Go back to Hebrews chapter 5. We're going to be back at the verse 13 again. For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. I like that. Everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness. See, people that are wise will hang around with wise people. They can talk, they can discuss things. But a wise person can't hang around with a fool, because if a fool is trying to be wise like the wise person is going to be trying to teach him. The fool is not going to like that the wise person is teaching him, because he wants to be wise too. That's a fool. All right? For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. I like that. So wise people will hurt foolish people's feelings. Foolish people will hurt wise people too if they basically come down to their level. If a wise person comes down to a fool's level, the fool will mock him. But the wise person that mocks the fool is more right. All right? He's more righteous. For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. Click on the word for babe. Napios. Word for baby, basically. Napios. All right? Not speaking. The babe doesn't speak. Highlight the word not speaking, the two words. Not speaking. That is an infant. That is, highlight that. That is an infant. So when you're born again, believe it or not, when you're born again, most likely you'll be a physical adult. You'll be a physical adult when you're born again. You start all over again spiritually. You're physically an adult, but you're spiritually a baby. And it's up to you how much you grow. Whether you come out of that baby ship, whether you stay as a baby. It's up to you. You just don't grow. Just like physically, you grow automatically. But spiritually, you don't grow unless you apply yourself. That is an infant. Minor. I like the word minor. And this is what it'll get you. Simple-minded person. I like that. So if you remain a baby in the spirit, you're going to be a simple-minded person. You want to be simple-minded. No, I don't want to be something. Then you better grow. You better flap those wings. You don't want to be simple-minded. An immature Christian. I like that. An immature, what does immaturity mean? That means a person is not as mature as they should be. That's what you would be as a baby. You'd be an immature Christian. Babe, I like that. Babe, childish. It's like the word Jewish. Jewish doesn't mean you're Jew. It just means you're acting or you like a Jew. Jewish. The ish is a suffix, I think. Childish is not saying you're a child. You're just acting like you're behaving like a child. All right? Spiritually, you're behaving like a child. Like a child would. Click out of it. But strong meat, go to verse 14. But strong meat belong up to them that are full age. I like that. Strong meat belong up to them that are full age. And you can't sham this. You cannot act like this and make people think that you're full age spiritually. You're gonna show people by the way you're acting. You can't act like a spiritually full grown person. You can't act that out. Either you're gonna be or you're not. But strong meat belong up to them that are full age. What is strong meat again? It's spiritually mature word and understanding. Doctrines. All right? Click on that word for full age, 5046. Telios. This is the word for full age. No, this is not the word for babe, which is nabios. This is telios, which means full grown. Complete. I like that word, complete. Complete. This is what it is to be full grown. It means to be complete. I can remember a time when I was early on my believer walk. I was early on in this walk. I could feel it, that I was not complete. I was not fully grown. I could feel that. All right? Growth. Highlight the word growth. Mental and moral character. Completeness. Full age. Man. When somebody say, are you a man? That's what they really mean. If you're grown up adult and somebody says you're not a man, it's not meaning that you're not physically grown. That means that you're not spiritually grown. All right? I want to show you some. Go to search. Quit yourselves. I didn't say quick, I said quit with a T. Quit yourselves. Click on that word. Go to verse 8. Go back to search. Go put this in there. I go the way of all their. Click on that. Go up to verse 1. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die. I like that. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, go to verse 2. I go the way of all the earth. I like that. Going the way of all the earth, that means he's ready to die. Be strong. I like that. Told Solomon his son, be strong and therefore show thyself a man. I like that. So Solomon was really a grown man at this time. He was a young man, but he's a man. What David is saying is be spiritually a man. Therefore show thyself a man. Go back to that last scripture we was just at. Samuel. Go up to verse 8. So the Philistines were getting ready to fight Israel. This is what they said: woe unto us. Who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty Elohim? Right here it says gods, like as if there's more than one of them. But who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty Elohim? These are the Elohim that smote the Egyptians for all the plagues in the wilderness. Go to verse 9. Be strong and quit yourselves like men. How like that? Be strong and quit yourselves like men. What does that word quit mean? 1961. Higher. To exist, that is, be or become. You can click out of it. So be or become. So you don't put kids in your army. You put grown men. He's telling these grown men to quit yourselves, to become or be like grown men. So this is what you're to be like in the spirit. You're to shut your mouth until you grow up and become a man spiritually. Go back to history. Go back to Hebrews chapter 5. Scroll up. So how you become a grown man spiritually? You shut your mouth. All right? Shut your mouth and listen. What did you say, preacher, teacher? How do I become a grown man in the spirit? I said, shut your mouth and listen. That way you can find out eventually which teachers or which preacher is teaching the right thing. You won't know that right off the top. All right? Now I preach and I teach about being born again and filled with the Spirit. When you feel with the Spirit will help you grow, help you catch on and discern what is right, what is not right. All right? But go to verse 14 again. But strong meat belongeth to them that are full age. Highlight that. What I mean by growing up and becoming spiritual, that means read the Old Testament laws, read the Old Testament laws and Torah, and obey it. Read the New Testament scriptures, what Yahawah taught us and his apostles taught, and you will grow. Especially if you've been born again and filled with the Spirit. If you're not filled with the Spirit, seek to be filled with the Spirit of Yahawah. All right? And don't stop until you get filled. Because if you're just born again, that's what you are. You're just born again. Whether you're a baby. You know, you're still a baby. You're not growing up to full-grown adulthood, spiritually. But strong meat belonging to them that are full age. That means they're complete. Even those who by reason of use, I like that. Even those who by reason of use. What happens when you're eating strong meat? Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised. I like that. Have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So you grow up in this thing. You just don't happen overnight. By using that meat, that strong meat, those that have grown into it, they have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. It don't happen overnight. It takes time. Wisdom takes time. All right? So it's reading and studying the scriptures and growing. I'm trying to catch up with him because he's wise. So I'm going to just listen to what he's telling me, and I'm going to pick it up from there. Nope. Because God's purpose for your life might be different from his purpose for my life. That's not how you do it. You got to grow your own self. So nobody else can grow for you. You got to grow your own self. You got to have your own relationship with Yahawah. Not somebody else have a relationship with you for him, for them. You got to have your own relationship with Yah. That's how you grow. That's how you grow. You grow in relationship with Yah and his son, Yahawah. That's how you grow. Now, that's the reason why I stick on the topic about the Father and the Son. I go more to the Old Testament scriptures, talking about what's going to happen, the prophecies. Go to search. Now, here's the best gift you can get as a believer. The best gift you can have, put this in the search engine, that you might prophesy. Put in there instead of might, put may prophesy. I think you got an SY, I think it's CY. Scroll down to First Corinthians, Second Corinthians. Okay, hold on. Go to 1 Corinthians 12. Go back what you just said. Search. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Scroll all the way down to the end. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 14. There it is. 1 Corinthians 14. The best gift is prophesy. Follow after charity, desire spiritual gifts, but rather that you may prophesy. Highlight that. Or rather that you may prophesy. What's the best gift? Prophesy. Prophesy. So which one are you to cover? To prophesy. Click on that. Greek 4395. Prophet Tio. To foretell events. Highlight that. To foretell events. Divine. Speak under inspiration. Exercise the prophetic office. Prophesy. What's the greatest gift? Prophesy. Prophecy. All right. But desire the spiritual gift, but rather that you may prophesy. So you want to prophesy. So that's the reason why I foretell events. That's when I say that the Father is coming. Many people think the Son is coming first. But the Ancient of Days comes first. That's the Father. And the scripture tells you that. Anybody that's telling you that the Son comes first, back to the earth, It's not prophesying to you correctly. They're false prophets. False prophets. Go to Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23. Close there. Jeremiah 23. Scroll down. Jeremiah 23:9. Mine heart within me is broken because of the prophets. I like that. Now, how long does it take for you to become a prophet after you get born again? It might take a while. But y'all could probably use you in the office of prophet quickly. You can feel with the Holy Spirit. It depends on the person. But don't think you're going to be a baby in diapers prophesying. All right? My heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I'm like a drunken man. I'm like a man with whom wine has overcome because of Yahawah and because of the word of his holiness. All right? So when people prophesy the incorrect prophecy, it hurts. It hurts Israel. The false prophets hurt Israel. And people are more likely to hear the false prophets than the real ones. Go to Matthew. Matthew. The Gospel of Matthew. I think so. That's either Matthew or Mark. Matthew chapter 5. All the way up. That's 4. So the next one is, scroll up. Start at verse 11. Matthew says this is the Gospel on the Mount, the Sermon on the Mount that Yahawah preached. Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you, shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice. Verse 12. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad. For great is your reward in heaven. Now he's telling people, blessed is it when men revile you. That means they basically do bad things to you for his sake. Because of you being right with Yahawah, they revile you and they persecute you, say all manner of evil against you falsely for his sake. Blessed is when that happens. Rejoice. What does he tell you to do? Rejoice and be exceeding glad. Highlight that. Rejoice and be exceeding glad. For great is your reward in heaven. Highlight that part. For great is your reward in heaven. So people that get to the point of prophecy have a great reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. All right. But the prophets which were before you got treated like that. Prophets get treated bad. Put in your search engine false prophets. Scroll. Go to Luke 6. 26. All right. Yahawah said again, woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you. I like that. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you. Exclamation point. All right. For so did they to their fathers, to the false, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. I like that. What did they do to the false prophets? They spoke well of them. And they still do it today. The false prophets get a great reputation, but the real prophets get reviled and spoken evil of, put down. And, but the false prophets get spoken well of. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you. Highlight that again. Make sure you get the exclamation point this time. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you. That's what you be careful. You start looking around like, oh, they all speaking well of me. Oh, I know what's going to happen now. Because Yahawah said when they speak bad of you, that's when your reward is greater than ever. All right. They spoke well of the false prophets. All right. The major thing you want to be is a real prophet, but a real prophet is going to suffer. Not many people want to suffer. So not many people grow up to spiritual maturity because they don't want to suffer. All right. So that's the reason why I speak on the Father coming. The Father is going to come as the Ancient of Days. All right. Go to Daniel. We're about ready to cut this off. Go to Daniel chapter 7. You're almost there. Yeah. Chapter 7. 20. Verse 19 to 20. Verse 21 more apparent. Daniel said he saw the little horn made war with the saints. I like that. The little horn has been making war with the saints. Who are the saints? I beheld. The little horn made war with the saints. Who are the saints? That's Israel. The saints is Israel. The holy people. God's covenant people. Is all people God's covenant people? No. God's covenant people, a lot of them are hard-headed, but they're the saints. I beheld the same horn, the little horn on the beast. 7 heads and 10 horns, that little horn made war with the saints. What do you think slavery was all about? Jim Crow, oppression. That was the little horn making war with the saints and prevail against them. How like that? Prevail. When nothing happened, they wind up still in captivity through the oppression. The little horn prevailed against them. They sit back and laugh. There's nothing that the saints can do, even to this day. All right, go to verse 22. Until, give that one word, until, highlight. Until, what? Until, make sure both of the ears here. Until the Ancient of Days came. Highlight that. Until the Ancient of Days came. Did it say until Yahawah, the Son of God, came? No, until the Ancient of Days came. Who is the Ancient of Days? Yahawah. All right. Till the Ancient of Days came. Did he come in heaven or did he come on the earth? He's already up in heaven. So if he came somewhere, he has to be coming to the earth. All right. Until the Ancient of Days came. I'm going to show you what that word came means. 858. Click on 858. I thought. That's the Chaldee. Click on, highlight the Chaldee. Chaldee concordance. I thought in the Chaldee language, or whatever this is. It's a little different than the Hebrew. It's still Hebrew, but it's Aramaic. All right, Chaldee dictionary is going to correspond to Aramaic. All right. So what is until the ancient of days came? Till the ancient of days become. I like that. Till the ancient of days become. I like become. Wait a minute. How ancient of days going to become? What is he going to become? But he's coming, but it's going to become. To the ancient of days bring. I like the word bring. So he's not going to be up in heaven. He's going to come to the earth. Until the ancient of days came, the little horn prevailed against the saint. Forgot that? Till the ancient of days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. I like that. And judgment was given. And judgment given to the saints of the Most High. There's two types of saints. There's saints of the Most High, and there's saints. The saints of the Most High are the highest degree of saints. Those are the bad boys, the big boys, the ones that were prophets, great men. They're the big boys, mature saints. All right? To the ancient days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. I'm going to show you what's going to happen. We don't know. We're thinking that Yahawah is going to come in the clouds right off the bat, so we wait on the rapture. Or we're waiting on Yahawah to come in the clouds. No, that's not what's going to happen. Now, Yahawah is going to send his angels. They're going to cast the tares into a furnace and burn them up. That's going to be one of the things he does, but he's still going to be up in heaven. All right? But the Ancient of Days is going to come. He's going to be born into the world. All right? He's going to become. Means he's going to grow. Be as a regular man, a regular dude is going to grow. What I've seen from Malachi chapter 4, that Elijah that's coming in the latter days is the Ancient of Days before he becomes the Ancient of Days. He's going to be Elijah first. He'll be known to be Elijah. Is he going to literally be the real Elijah? No. But Elijah got his spirit from the Ancient of Days, from this God that's going to be called Elijah in the latter days. He's going to become the Ancient of Days. All right? He's going to be in the earth. We don't know how long he's going to be in the earth. But he's the one that's going to cause all those changes. This is going to be called the Day of Yahawah. The Day of Yahawah. I know most of us have read in the scripture about the Day of Yahawah. We don't fully understand it. The Day of Yahawah is going to be the Ancient of Days day. Is that going to be the millennium reign? The Day of Yahawah is going to happen before the millennium. Before Yahawah, when Yahawah gets here, it's going to be the millennium. But the Day of Yahawah is going to be before the millennium. Before the 1,000-year period happens or begins. All right? So Yahawah is going to be in the world before that even happens. It's going to be called the Day of Yahawah. It makes sense, doesn't it? Yahawah is going to be in the world during the Day of Yahawah. Well, what will Yahawah be? He'd still be up in heaven. So why does the Ancient of Days come down on the Day of Yahawah? Day of Yahawah. So he can make sure all Yahawah's enemies are put up under his feet, made his footstool. He's the one that's going to make Yahawah's enemies his footstool. He's going to do it himself. That's what David said. Yahawah said unto my Adawan, sit down at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. That's Psalm 110, verse 1. So Yahawah is sitting right there next to the Father's throne until Yahawah on the earth makes all the enemies his footstool. What's the last enemy that's going to be defeated? Death. Yahawah is going to defeat death in the earth. Go to search. But the last part of that, go back to Bible. I want to make sure that you see the last part of that. Back to Bible. Bible, right there. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. These are two different time periods. Until the ancient of days came, it's going to be the day of Yahawah. But until the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom, it's going to be after the tribulation. When the saints possess the kingdom, it's going to be after the tribulation. But the judgment given to the saints of the Most High, that's going to be the day of Yahawah. Two different time periods. Yahawah is going to be in the earth before the day of tribulation. I lost my train of thought trying to get you there to the Bible. Go to search, day of the Lord. Boy, that's 389, 80 verses. Huh? Put in there, it is the day of Yahweh. The day of Yahweh, the Lord. It's not going to say Yahweh in the King James. It is the day of Yahweh. Make sure you separate the words. The day of should not be together. Otherwise, it's going to come up blank. Day of the Lord. That looks better. Scroll. Scroll. Go to Isaiah. Verse chapter 13. How ye for the day of Yahweh is at hand. Highlight that. Isaiah 13, verse 6. It should come as a destruction from the Almighty. Highlight that. So who's Yahweh? The Almighty. All right. Click on, well, I was going to tell you to click on something, but the Spirit told me, hold off on it. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. This is not going to happen in the day of tribulation. This is going to happen when Yahawah comes into the earth, when he gets mighty power, when he becomes the Almighty. All right. So what's going to happen is that Yahawah is going to be in the earth as the Ancient of Days. He's going to be in there first as Elijah. He's going to get power. He's going to be as a regular human being. All of a sudden, a regular human being is going to get power. All right. That's going to come as a destruction from the Almighty. Click that word 7706. Shaddai. Shaddai. When you hear the word El Shaddai, that's the Almighty. All right. I like the word Almighty, the Almighty. So who is the Lord? He's the Almighty. Click out of it. Therefore shall every hand be faint, every man's heart shall melt. This is not going to be the Great Tribulation. During the Great Tribulation is where the Antichrist, the man of sin, is going to reign. All right? That doesn't mean every man's heart is going to be faint and every man's hand is going to be weak. But when Yahawah shows up on the scene, that's when the hand's going to be faint. Every man's heart shall melt. Because he's going to get power. This man that you're going to think of as just as a regular man is going to be powerful. All right? They ask Yahawah, will you at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? What do Yahawah say unto them? It's not for you to know the times or the seasons, but the Father put in his own power. The Father is going to receive power in the earth. He's going to be looked at as a regular man, and all of a sudden he's going to receive that power. People are going to find out he is really Yahawah, the Almighty, El Shaddai. When that happens, all hands shall be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Scroll up a little bit, verse 8. And they shall be afraid. I like that. So he's gonna come in the world and gonna make people afraid. He's gonna already be in the world, but he's gonna get power. All right, he's gonna receive that power from on high. Pangs and sorrows will take hold of them. I like that. Now, when can this happen? Any day. This could happen any day. They're talking about the rapture could happen. No, the day of Yahawah can happen any day. They shall be in pain as a woman in travail. That travail. I like that. They shall be in pain as a woman that travail. They should be amazed. I want you to look at the word amazed. Shema, to be in consternation. Now, what would make the whole world be in consternation? That means amazed. Something like that happened in this world. This man all of a sudden gets all that power. All right? And it says he's going to shake the heavens and the earth. Is that the Great Tribulation? No. That's the day of Yahweh. It's two different things. Now, the Great Tribulation is going to happen within the context of the day of Yahweh? Yeah. But not right off the bat. What's going to happen at first? What we're reading right here. First thing that's going to happen during the day of Yahweh, he's going to get power, and the whole world going to be amazed. They're going to be in consternation. Be amazed. How like that? Be astonished. Marvel. Marvelously. Wonder. What's going to happen? God's going to come into the world. He's going to be already in the world, but he's going to get his power. He's going to come into the world as a baby, grow up, become a man, a grown man, old man maybe. He's going to get power. And the whole world's going to be in consternation. Click out of that. They should be amazed at one another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of verse 9. Behold, the day of Yahweh coming. I like that. Really, to be honest with you, it's the day of Yahweh that's going to destroy Babylon when he comes into the world. Well, not when he comes into the world. He's going to be already in the world when he gets power, when he becomes the Almighty. So that means Yahweh going to be in the world watching all of this stuff that was been going on around his people for years. There's going to be nothing that the world can tell him. I saw what you did in that trial with Carmelo Anthony. I saw that whole thing. Yeah, I saw it. I was in the world when Dr. Martin Luther King, you killed him. I was in the world then. See? You ain't going to be able to tell Yahweh nothing. Because he saw it. He was right there. As a human being. A lot of people don't think he's going to be a human being. Now, he's not going to be in all power. When he comes into the world, it's going to be like what Moses saw. A lot of people think Moses saw Yahawah. He probably saw Yahawah because Yahawah was the invisible image of the invisible God. But in a lot of days, this invisible God going to have his own image. All right? Does that mean Yahawah won't look like him? Yeah, Yahawah look like him just as a father. A son looks like his father. But they won't be the same person. All right? Behold, the day of Yahweh coming. What is it? Cruel. Now, look at that word coming first before you go to cruel. Bo, to go or come. In a wide variety of applications. All right? Click out of it. Cruel. The day of Yahweh is going to be cruel. That means when Yahweh gets his power, it's going to be cruel. Why? Because he saw everything that was going on. And he's not going to put up with it. He's going to give the enemy, the Gentiles, enough chance at that day and time. All right? to get it right. A lot of people gonna kill right off the top. All right? Cruel, that means terrible. I like the word terrible. Flow with me. Cruel one. See that? Cruel, in parentheses, one. That means somebody's gonna be cruel. Cruel one. Click out of it. So it's gonna be a cruel one in there that has all power. Cruel both with wrath. I like that. Cruel both with wrath. But who's the one that's gonna be wrathful during the day of Yahawah? Yahawah. That was he's gonna be the cruel one with wrath. Highlight that. I'll click on it. Hebrew. And now burst of passion. Anger. Rage. Wrath. We did a video last week. We said, don't worry, Israel. Yahawah's on his way. When he's on his way, when he gets here, he's gonna be cruel. Both with wrath, look out of it, and fierce anger. Highlight that. And fierce anger. All right. Click on the word for fierce. We're gonna try to do this. Karon. The word for what is it? Fierce. It's the word karon. All right. A burning of anger. Sore displeasure. Highlight that. Fierceness. Fury. Fierce, wrathful. Okay, click out of it. Anger. Click on the word for anger. Ah. The nose or nostril. When somebody gets angry, you notice their nose goes in and out. Hence the face. The face. The face becomes fierce. Occasionally a person. In this case, it would be a person. It's going to be Yahawah, the Ancient of Days. Also from the rapid breathing of passion. I like that. And from the rapid breathing of passion. Anger, angry. Before, continence. Face, forbearing. Scroll up just a little bit. Forehead. So even some going to be about his forehead. Long suffering. Nose, nostril, snout, worthy wrath. Look out of it. To lay the land desolate. Highlight that. To lay what land desolate? It sounds like the land that we're living in today. Because if this is the judgment on Babylon and it's the day of Yahawah, so the day of Yahawah and the judgment of Babylon is going to happen around the same time, then it's this land that we're living in today is going to be desolate. And probably Israel too over there. And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Highlight that. We're going to be looking for sinners to destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Verse 10. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. Highlight that. The light of the sun and the moon have been threatening to do this, but they won't get their light. The sun should be darkened in his going forth. Highlight that. The sun should be darkened in his going forth, and the moon should not cause her light to shine. Highlight that. So when is this going to happen? In the day we're living in today. It's not going to be another day. It's going to be the day we're living in right now. It's going to happen. Verse 11. And I will punish the world for their evil. I like that. What is he going to punish the world for? For killing his people, hanging them on trees, not giving them justice in the courtroom, just for straight up oppression, which is evil. Click on the word for evil. Ra, ra. Bad or as a noun evil. Bad or as a noun evil. Naturally or morally. This includes the second feminine form. Scroll up a little bit. as adjective or noun, adversity. So you know the word for adversity? One of the words for adversity is adversary. Adversary is the word for adversity. Affliction. Remember, there's people going to be afflicted for 400 years. Bad. Calamity. Displeased. Distress. Evil. Favoredness. You can click out of it. He's going to punish the world for their evil. All right? So that affliction that they went through, that people went through for 400 years, and all the bad stuff, he's going to punish the world for that. And the wicked for their iniquity. I like that. The wicked is basically those that should be keeping the law, but didn't. Click on the word for wicked. I'm going to show you. Not going to only punish the people that's deserving of it. He's going to punish the people that were Israelites that rejected it and would not obey his word, would not obey the law, the Torah. Morally wrong, concretely an adjective, bad person. Condemned, guilty, ungodly. A person that is ungodly should have been godly, right? Wicked, wicked man that did wrong. They were supposed to keep the law. Took out of it, so he can punish the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Verse 12. So the day of Yahawah is going to happen in a day like we're living in today. What's going to happen? The man that's really the Ancient of Days, Yahawah, going to receive his power. One of the things he's going to destroy is Babylon. Another thing he's going to destroy is death. Death for the righteous. He's going to swallow up death and victory. By that time, he's going to be in Mount Zion. He's going to raise up the dead. All right? So it's the day of Yahawah. This is going to happen before the Great Tribulation. Most people don't know that. All right? Most people don't know that the day of Yahawah is going to start before the Great Tribulation. Go to Revelation. Just a little bit more. Revelation chapter 11. Start at verse 15. Chapter 11. You're at verse 9 right now. Go over. Now you're at verse 8, 7. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Go up. Go up. Right there. Go to verse 15. So what's going on with the seven? When the seventh trumpet blows, what's happening? The day of Yahawah. Revelation 11, verse 15. The seventh trumpet is what's going to show you the day of Yahawah. All right? And the seven angels sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Yahawah and of his Mashiach. Highlight that. The kingdoms of this world become the kingdoms of Yahawah and of his Mashiach. Most people will say that's just only the kingdom of Yahawah. Right here it says that the kingdoms of this world become the kingdoms of our Yah and of his Mashiach. It's two, Yahawah and of his Christ. What's going to happen first? Yahawah is going to be on the earth first. And Mashiach is going to still be up in heaven. All right? And he, I want you to highlight the word and he. Who is that he? It didn't say they. And he. Who is that he? That's Yahawah. Highlight the word Yahawah, which is spoken of as Lord right here. That's not Christ. That he is Yahawah. And he shall reign forever and ever. Who's going to reign? Yahawah. All right? And he shall reign forever and ever. This is the day of Yahawah. Scroll up to verse 16. And the 24 elders were set before God on their throne, on their seats, fell upon their faces and worshiped Elohim. So Yahawah is everywhere, right? He's not only going to be in there, he's going to be up in heaven on the throne. Scroll up to verse 17. saying, we give thee thanks, O Yahawah Elohim, Almighty. There's that word right there again we just saw for the Almighty in Isaiah, which means Shaddai, saying, we give thee thanks, O Yahawah Elohim Al Shaddai, which are, which was, and which are to come. Because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and has reigned. Highlight that. Because thou hast taken to thee thy great power. What's going to happen? He's going to get his power. It's going to happen before the great tribulation. It's going to be in a day like we're living in today, where we got nations fighting one another. All right? Like Iran, Israel, and United States of America, China, and Russia, and all that rumors of wars. It's going to happen in a day like that, like what we're living in today. All right? So they worshiping on the throne, around the throne up in heaven when this happens. Because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and has reigned. So while he's on the earth, as the Ancient of Days, he's going to be up in heaven as Yahawah Elohim Almighty. At the same time, scroll up, if you can, or just go to verse 18. And the nations were angry. Highlight that. And the nations were angry. You can imagine that, can you? Can you imagine Donald Trump and Netanyahu being angry at the Ancient of Days? Huh? That's what's going to happen. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath has come. Highlight that. You're going to look at them and say, oh, you angry, huh? Oh, you angry? Watch this. And thy wrath has come. My wrath ain't came yet. You angry. Watch this. And the time of the dead. So he's going to judge Babylon, which basically is, you're talking about America and the false Israel over there, which is Babylon. All right, he's going to judge the system and the time of the dead. What's he going to do after that? He's going to raise the dead. Highlight that in the time of the dead. You angry, huh? Watch this. All right. And then after he gets done with them, he's going to raise the dead, that they should be judged. Highlight that they should be judged. And that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets. That's why Yahawah said, many going to come from the east and west to sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdom will be cast out where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. Because he saw this. All right? So at the time when the Ancient of Days comes into the world and gets his power, it's still going to be the kingdom of heaven. It's still going to be that. It's going to be the kingdom of heaven. And he's going to raise up Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right in this world that we're living in today. All right? We ain't not waiting on the rapture of the church. We're not even waiting on Yahawah. We're waiting on the Ancient of Days to get his power. Who's in the earth. And I guarantee you, he's in the earth today. He's the one that's playing with the stuff that's going on. Give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints. Highlight that, and to the saints. That thou shouldst give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and unto the saints. The saints and the prophets are in two different levels. The prophets are the greatest of the saints. The saints are just the regular saints. All right? The ones that didn't get the reward of the prophets. And them that fear thy name, those that fear his name are going to be basically the Gentiles. He's going to give reward unto the servants, the prophets, to the saints, and the Gentiles that fear his name. Small and great. Should have destroyed them that destroyed the earth. All right? With these nuclear bombs and all of that, and these diseases that they're coming out of the woodwork with, we're going to destroy them. We're going to kill those people. And okay, go to verse 19. And the temple of God was open in heaven. I like that. The temple of God was opened up in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament. So the ark of the testament is going to be seen up in heaven. And there were lightnings and voices and thunders and earthquake and great hail. So it's showing you who this was that's in the earth. So this is going to be the day of Yahawah, people. Go to verse 12. It's explained in chapter 12, not verse 12, chapter 12. Explained it in chapter 12 what's going on. There appeared a great wonder in heaven, and a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. It's telling you what happened, that this nation Israel, which is as this woman right here, clothed with the sun, moon under her feet, upon her head a crown of 12 stars, gave birth to a man child. Who was a man child? The Ancient of Days. Not Yahawah. The Ancient of Days is what she gave birth to. And it became the day of Yahawah. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and there behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, 7 crowns upon his heads. Who was this? This is Rome, which became Babylon eventually. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast him to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So why is Israel going through so much oppression right now? Because the dragon's trying to devour her child before it's born. And what it means to be born into the purpose. The dragon is trying to keep the man child, which is the Ancient of Days, from being born into his purpose, because he knows what's going to happen if he gets born into his purpose. That's why it's called a man child, because he's going to be a man and he's going to be a child. The dragon is trying to keep this man child from being born into his purpose. Click on Greek 5088. That's the reason why Israel is going through so much trouble. Tick 2. So God trying to keep it from being born into his purpose. And she brought forth a man child. Click on a man. Arain Arsane. A male. Click on the word male. As stronger for lifting, a male man. All right, click out of it. Child. Helios. A son, something of animals. He's very widely of immediate, remote, or figurative kinship. Click out of it. She brought up a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. Highlight that. What is the man child going to do? The day of Yahawah. Who was the rule? She brought up a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up into Elohim and to his throne. What's going to happen to that Ancient of Days? Highlight that. And her child was caught up into Elohim and to his throne. What's going to happen to him? He's going to physically, without blood, he's going to have flesh and bone. He's going to be caught up into God and to his throne. He's going to be God. God is going to not only be just a spirit, he's going to have flesh and bone. It's going to be just like the Son is. The Son is flesh and bone. He's going to have flesh and bone. And when he was caught up to God and to his throne, the woman was led into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of God that they should feed her there for 1,203 score days. So the day of Yahawah is going to be not the tribulation. It's going to be when the man gets all that power. Hallelujah. And then he gonna reign until he gets caught up to God and to his throne. When he gets caught up to God and to his throne, that's when the tribulation happens. That's when the tribulation happens. Go to scroll down. This is where the tribulation happens. He's going to be caught up. The tribulation is going to happen. Why is it going to happen? Because there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought on his angels, and prevailed not. Verse 8. Scroll up. And prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. So they're literally going to get kicked out of heaven. That's when the tribulation is going to take place. The great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. So is the devil cast out right now? No. If Yahawah was the man child, Satan would have been kicked out 2,000 years ago. All right? But it's the Father, it's the Ancient of Days, that's the man child. Right now, Satan is still working for the Father. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now, this is the spirit that goes down and possesses the man of sin, the son of perdition. Did you know that Judas Iscariot was called the son of perdition? What happened to him when Yahawah gave him the sop? Satan entered into him. Well, this was going to happen to that man man of sin that's going to be in the earth at this day. When Satan gets kicked out of heaven, he's going to go and possess the man of sin. And he's going to take over. He's going to have 3.5 years to wreak havoc in the earth. But it's still called the day of Yahawah. But the day of Yahawah don't start at the Great Tribulation. It starts before then. We don't know how long it's going to be. But when I read the scriptures, it shows that the day of his people should be like the life of the days of a tree. We don't know how long that day is going to be. But that's what's going to happen first. The day of when Yahawah is revealed in the earth, he's going to come with power. And all the nations are going to they're going to put their weapons down and beat their spears in the pruning hooks. And they go to Isaiah real quick, one more. What's going to happen to the nations when they see Yahawah's on there? Isaiah chapter 2. It shall come to pass, verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days. The last days, I like that term, last days, the last days. It shall come to pass in the last days. What's going to happen in the last days? That the mountain of Yahawah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. Highlight that. So this is the day of Yahawah. It shall be exalted above the hills and the nations, and all nations shall flow into it. Highlight that. And all nations shall flow into it. So the nation's going to see this. They're going to see it and to know that this is Yahawah. They're going to take their weapons and make them pruning instruments, farming instruments. And many people shall go and say, "Come, let us go up." Highlight that. Scroll up a little bit. And many people shall go and say, "Come, ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahawah, to the house of the God of Jacob." And he, highlight that. And he, who? He, who's that he in Revelation chapter 11 that we just read about? Yahawah, right? And he shall teach us of his ways, and we shall walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahawah from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations. Highlight that. Verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations. Notice that's he. Nah, that's Yahawah is doing it. No. Yahawah is still up in heaven at this time. That he is Yahawah. And shall rebuke many people. Highlight that. And shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords in the plowshares. Highlight that. Now, it's like they have weapons of war, but they beat them in the plowshares. Now, when he goes up into heaven, he's going to get the Antichrist 3 years. When he comes back, he's going to tell them, beat your plowshares back in the swords and come and fight. Because they basically, when he was in the earth, they worshipped him. When he left the earth, they start worshiping the Antichrist, the man of sin. When he comes back, he's going to say, now beat those plowshares and the swords and come to fight. What you did to my people while I was gone, I'm going to fight you now. But before that happens, he's going to be in there. He's going to tell them to beat their swords and the plowshare and spears and the pruning hooks. Nation shall not split the sword against nation, neither shall they learn in war anymore. Go to verse 5. But we don't know how long this time is going to last. O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of Yahawah. The day of Yahawah. I like that. They got it as day of Yahawah. This is the day. But that's the day started right there, what we are just reading. They think the day of Yahawah is just a great tribulation. But I just read part of the day of Yahawah is when he's going to be in the earth. He's going to make the nations beat their swords and the plowshares, their spears and the pruning hooks. And he, who is that he? Yahawah. Now I got some brothers that are saying that Yahawah is Yahweh Shai. Guess what that is? That's a prophet that shouldn't be teaching. Not at least that topic. But Yahawah, the day of Yahawah comes before the great tribulation. We don't know how long it's going to be, but the scripture talks about it all the time. It's talking about the day of Yahawah in Isaiah mostly. Jeremiah talks about it. Ezekiel talks about it. But they put it in the wrong place of time. All right? So people that's listening to me, just happen to happenstance about this video, know for sure that this is the word of Yahweh. It puts together, it comes together. All right? Read 11, Revelation 11, starting at verse 15, and look at the scriptures talking about the day of Yahweh. Like Isaiah chapter 13. Yahweh, when he comes into the earth and gets his power, he's going to destroy Babylon. Babylon's going to be destroyed, and then he's going to raise the dead up. And Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are going to be sitting there in Jerusalem eating. How long this is going to take place, we don't know. But we know it's going to be quite a bit of time. Because the lifespan of man is going to get longer while he's in the earth reigning. The lifespan is going to be like 100 years. What does he say? A child should die at 100 years. No longer shall go to search. A child should die at 100. Isaiah 65. Yeah, Isaiah 65. So when he's in the earth, we don't know how long he's going to be in the earth. There shall no more be thence an infinite days. Highlight that. There shall no longer be an infinite days, like dying of crib death and all of that. Nor an old man that has not filled out his days. Highlight that. Nor an old man that has not filled his days. But a child shall die in 100 years old. Highlight that. This is the day of Yahweh, people. A child shall die at 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 shall be cursed. Highlight that. To show you this is not the Great Tribulation or the beginning of the millennium. In the millennium, Israel is going to be all saved. They're going to be all immortal. For 1,000 years, the whole Israelite nation will be immortal. To show you that this is not that 1,000-year reign, right here says the sinner being 100 years old. The sinner means a person that doesn't keep the Torah in Israel. All right? The person in Israel that doesn't keep the Torah being 100 years old should be accursed. That's not the 1,000-year reign. When 1,000-year reign, there won't be no more death in Israel. Because all Israel will be saved. As the scripture says in, what is it? Romans chapter 11, verse 25 or 26. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written. It shall come out of Zion the deliverer, shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. All Israel will be saved during the millennium. So there won't be no more sinners in Israel during the millennium. Because it shows you that this is not the millennium reign. This is the Father dwelling in the earth. The sinner being 100 years old should be accursed. So verse 21. And they shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and they shall eat the fruit of them. This is not the millennial reign. This is the day of Yahweh. Roll up to verse 22. And when Yahweh first gets his power, he's going to go off. He's going to basically have fierce wrath. A lot of people are going to die. After that, he's going to raise the dead. That's when Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the prophets and all that going to get up. They're going to be in the earth reigning with Yahawah until Yahawah is taken up into heaven. Then you're going to have a marriage up in the Lamb for 3.5 years while he's up there in heaven. While the Antichrist, the man of sin, is down on the earth for 3.5 years, making the earth mad, all right? Beating up the earth. They should not build and another inhabit. They should not plant and another eat. Was the days of a tree? I like that. Was the days of a tree are the days of my people. So he's going to increase the years while he's in the earth. People are going to be living to be 100 years old. Because the days of a tree are the days of my people. Mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hand. So I hope y'all understand what I'm talking about. This is going to happen. The day of Yahawah is going to start to happen in this day and time we're living in today. When Yahawah gets the power and is going to judge the earth. One more. I'm going to go all the way with this. Remember when Abraham said, shall not the judge of the earth go to search? Hit the top, Genesis 18:25. Start at verse 24. So Abraham was talking to Yahawah that showed up with 2 angels. Showed you how this is going to be. So who is this going to be in there? That same Yahawah that talked to Abraham with 2 angels. This is going to be called the Ancient of Days during this time. That person that's going to be in the earth for the day of Yahawah, that is going to be really Yah himself, is the same one that was talking to Abraham right here. Peradventure, Abraham is pleading with Yahawah that's talking to him face to face. Peradventure, there be 50 righteous within the city. Will thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? Go ahead. That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from thee. Shall not, highlight this, shall not the judge of all the earth do right? So who's in the earth judging all of a sudden called the day of the Lord? The one that Abraham is talking to right here. I know that there's going to be some that say, he's talking to Yahawah. Why does it say Yahawah if he's talking to Yahawah then? Why doesn't the scripture distinguish between Yahawah and his son? It says, shall not the judge of all the earth do right? This is Yahawah, the one that sits on the throne. He's talking to Abraham face to face. It can't be. If you talk to Yahawah face to face, you burn up. Oh, get out of here. Ooh, then where's the Ancient of Days going to be at and everything? Where's the Ancient of Days going to be at? And the Ancient of Days, Yahawah, the one that sits on the throne, where's he going to be at? Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? So this is Yahawah. When he's in the earth, he's going to be called the Ancient of Days. And after he puts all the enemies up under Yahawah's feet, including death, for the last enemy, go to search. The last enemy. You know what's that? The last enemy that shall be destroyed. Highlight this. The last enemy that shall be destroyed that's going to be put up under Yahawah's feet. Guess what it is? Death. So Yahawah must stay up in heaven until death is put up under his feet. Who's the one that puts death up under his feet? Who's the one that puts death up under Yahawah's feet? Yahawah. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. So I'm telling you people, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I never heard nobody preach this like what I'm preaching right now. Does that mean, since I'm the only one preaching it, does that mean that it must not be true? Oh, I'm quite sure that other people out there see it, but are they preaching it? All right, if there's somebody out there preaching it, I will tell you his name. For he had put all things under his feet. Highlight that. Who put all things under whose feet? Yahawah put all things under his son's feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, highlight that. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted. Highlight that. Which did put all things under him. Explain this scripture. He is accepted. That means all things will be put up under Yahawah's feet except the Father. All right? Except the Father. Go to verse 28. Go to. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him. So he's going to put all things under his Son's feet while he's in the earth, including death. When all things are put up under him, then shall the Son be also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him. So during the millennium reign, Yahawah is going to worship the Father. He's going to be under the Father. The Father's going to be in the earth. The Father's going to be in the earth, like we just saw in Revelation chapter 11, verse 15. And the Son's going to be in the earth. The Son's going to be sitting on the throne of David. The Father's going to be sitting on the throne in Jerusalem, in the temple, where the Ark of the Covenant used to be at. That's where the Father's throne is going to be at. He's going to be sitting between the cherubs. One more thing, one more. Psalm 99. This is lately has become one of my favorite scriptures. Psalm 99. Psalm. That's Job. What comes after Job? Yep, 99. Go up. There it is right there. Yahawah reigneth. So what is this going to look like? The day of Yahawah, when Yahawah's in the earth, before Yahawah gets back to the earth, Yahawah reigneth. How like that? Yahawah reigneth. Let the people tremble. How like it? Yahawah reigneth. Let the people tremble. We just saw it. That the people is going to be a cruel day when he comes in, when he gets his power. So Yahawah reigneth. Let the people tremble because he's going to go off. He's going to have fierce wrath because of what he's seen. What he's seen in the world and how he's seen the heathen do his people. Oh my goodness. You see, you know some people that would need to hear this? Give them this video. Share the video. Like and share. Because what's going on right now, Yahawah and the earth is looking at it. When he gets his power, he's going to go off. Yahawah reigneth, let the people tremble. Highlight the word tremble. Or click on that word. Right, guys. To quiver. This is going to be literally Yahawah in the earth. The Ancient of Days is going to be in the earth, and he's going to make the people quiver. Click on the word quiver. With any violent emotion. The nation's going to be angry, right? With any violent emotion, especially anger or fear. Can you imagine that? Somebody like Donald Trump getting so angry at Yahawah and can't do nothing about it, so he quivers with anger or fear. To be afraid. Highlight that. Be afraid. That's what it should be. Be afraid. Stand in awe. Stand in awe. Just quiet. Fall out. That means people are going to pass out. Yahawah said, many people's heart going to be filling them for fear. Fret. Move. Provoke. Quake. Rage. Shake. Tremble. Click out of it. Yahawah reigneth, let the people tremble. He set it between the cherubim. Highlight that. So instead of the Ark of the Covenant, Yahawah's going to be in the temple sitting between two live cherubim. So if you want to see an angel, and you ever want to see an angel, just live into this day and time. You're going to see cherubims. That he's going to be sitting on a throne in the temple between two angelic creatures that got feet like calves' feet. And they're going to be tall, big cherubim. How tall they're gonna be? I bet you they're gonna be taller than 9 foot. He said it between the cherubim. Let the earth be moved. How like that? Let the earth be moved. Is that gonna be in heaven or is it gonna be on earth? Verse 2. We're gonna see what is gonna be in heaven or earth. Yahawah is great in Zion. How like that? Where's he great at? In heaven or in Zion? Yahawah is great in Zion. He is high above all the people. How like that? So there's people on the earth, so he's high above all the people. So it's talking about Zion on the earth. Let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is holy. Hallelujah. So I'm telling you, people, the day of Yahawah is coming before the ancient, excuse me, the day of Yahawah is coming before the great tribulation. He's gonna judge. He's gonna judge the earth because of his wickedness, his evil, and what they've been doing to his people. And then after that, he's gonna raise the dead, put death upon the defeat of his son Yahawah. He's gonna swallow up death in victory. And then he's gonna take off after he does all of that for however long, maybe 100 years or something like that. He's gonna take off with those saints and go into heaven for the marriage supper of the Lamb. And the devil's gonna come down to the earth. That's gonna be the great tribulation. All right. Like I said, if you need comfort, listen to this video to see what's gonna happen. What's on the verge of happening. It's on the verge when he's gonna get his power. That's right. I said Yahweh is gonna get power, and when he gets power, he's gonna shake the heavens and the earth. He's gonna judge those wicked people. All right, shalom or shalom. That's another thing too. Hold on just a moment. When he gets into there, that's when he's going to give us our original language. We're not going to have to, somebody's not going to have to go and search and learn it and teach everybody else. He's going to miraculously give his people back their language. Then we're going to know the language. Shalom. That's Paul. Stop.